Hi, this is Marie. So I'm back again today with a tutorial on how to make this little bag. It's super fun and super quick and easy to make. I had a makes video on my channel, World Peas Knits and Crochets, and a lot of people asked me to do a tutorial on how to make this, and I'll go ahead and link up above the makes video if you want to see that, where I show all of my things that I made, and I have this one on there. Basically, it's a little bag, like a handbag, or you could use it, I wanted to use it to make a journal. I have a journal channel, which I can go ahead and link that up above as well. And I have tutorials on how to make handmade journals. And I thought it would be fun to go ahead and make a handmade journal and then give it to someone inside of a little bag. That is how this came about. So you could use this bag to put like a book or a journal, or you could use it for an iPad or a laptop. You just need to make it the correct size for whatever piece of equipment that you want to put inside of it, of course. It has this little cord that wraps around it and then a little flower that holds the bag shut. It's super easy, super fun to make. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side. I used 1 cake of mandala sparkle, and then this is the colorway that I used right here. Hopefully that's focusing. And what I went ahead and did was I took the yarn and I wound it into balls. So I would have 1 ball of each of the colors, and then I used that to make my granny squares. So I will check back in with you once I get it wound into little balls. And of course you could do this by hand, or you could do it with a ball winder if you have that. But I did it by hand. I might use my ball winder because when I did it, I was like on a trip in a car. But you can go ahead and do this, and you just wind a ball like this. And I will check back with you when I get it wound into all different colored balls. Okay, so here is what we ended up with. So basically, I just put all the different shades in balls by themselves. Some of them I wound by hand, and some of them I wound on a ball winder. So basically, I just kind of looked at whatever colors I had. Basically, the one with the largest amount of yardage, which was the largest ball, I went ahead and saved that color for the outside, you know, and I thought I would want to do the whole outside of the bag in that because I need the most for that. So we'll just go ahead and get started. We're using a size H hook. And I have an H hook in the Pioneer Woman crochet hook, and then I have an H hook in, that is from Clover, the Clover Amour crochet hook set. I'm going to start with this littler ball right here. Move all these out of the way. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start with the slip knot. So we're going to go ahead and take the yarn and cross it over and make a slip knot like this. And then, or however you make your slip knot. And then go ahead and tighten it up, but not too tight. And then we're going to chain 4. And then we're going to go ahead and go into that first chain, slip stitch to join. And then we're going to chain 2. And then we're going to go into the center. And that first chain 2 counts for as a first double crochet. So, and then we're going to go into the center hole, and then we're going to make another double crochet. So you do a yarn over into the center, and then yarn over, and then pull through 2, pull through 2. Just a refresher on a double crochet. And then we're going to go ahead and chain 1. And then we're going to make 3 more double crochets in that same center hole. So we're making our first square. And then we're going to chain 1 and then 3 more double crochets. Chain 1, 3 double crochets, chain 1, and then slip stitch to join, just like that. And then what you can do is go ahead, if you're going to be changing colors for every round, then you can cut this and then you can tie your new color on. And what I'm thinking is the easiest thing to do is go ahead and tie that off. There's your first square. So you have chain 1 in each corner and it makes a little square just like that. And then we're going to go ahead and attach the next yarn. I'm going to go ahead and make another slip knot. And what I like to do is flip this over. So if this was my front, this is my front, and then the back has kind of a ridge on it. That's how you tell. And the stitches look different. The stitches look like this on the front, and then on the back they look like this. But if it's known kind of in the crochet community that if you can flip your square over each time around, then it creates a less like twisted looking square, especially if you're making larger squares. So I'm going to go ahead and just do that. I'm going to start in one of the corners. I'm going to go ahead with my slip knot on here. I'm going to go ahead and chain 2. That counts as the first double crochet. I'm going to do 2 more double crochets. And chain 1, and then 3 double crochets. And so this is what our corner is going to look like from here on out. It's going to have 3 double crochets, chain 1 in the middle, and then 3 double crochets. And that's what will make our corners. And then we'll go over here and do 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. And then we're doing another corner over here. 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. Just like that. So we've got 3 of our corners done at this point. And then we're going to go do our last corner. Now you could join yarn colors however you like, whatever way you like to join your yarn. But I thought this might be a little easier. So that is what we're trying on this one. Since we're already going to be changing yarns every row and we already have all these ends to weave in, I thought it might be easier to just tie them off and then start anew. Okay, so now we've got our 4 corners, and then we're going to go ahead and slip stitch in the top of this, of the original chain 2, which was our first, meant to be our first double crochet. Just go ahead and tie that off. And so there is our first square with 2 rounds on it. And now we're going to pick another corner and then join our next color. So I'm going to go ahead and just make another slip knot. And also I'm going to flip the square. So basically you're just flipping the square every single time just so it stays square. And so I'm going to go ahead and go into one of the corners and I'm going to do chain 2 to count as our first double crochet. And then I'm going to do 2 more double crochets for our little set of 3. And then chain 1. And then 3 double crochets. And then we're going to go, now we have a center area that we need to go ahead and do 3 double crochets in. Because it's not a corner, we're not going to do the chain 1. So we're just going to go ahead and do 3 double crochets. As the square grows larger, we will have more areas that we will need to put the 3 double crochets in, because each time we go around and make another round on the square, then like next time, see, there'll be 2 areas that you'll do the 3 double crochets in between the corners, and then 4 and then 5 like that. So we'll go ahead and do chain 1, 3 double crochets, and I know you see how this is going. So we will just continue on around this square in that same pattern. I'm going to go ahead and do my 3 double crochets in the center one. I'm going to make a corner in the corner, which are 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets. And then another corner in the next corner, 3 double crochets, chain 1, 3 double crochets, and then 3 double crochets in our last center one, and then we're going to slip stitch to join. Okay, so that's how this is going to go down. We're just going to keep going. So we'll flip it over. We'll start with our next color until we have our square done. And so I will get back with you when I have all 7 colors, because we're doing 7 rows. I will get back with you when I have them all done. And this is how you count and see how many rows you have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to be making 7 rows, and then I'll be back with you. Okay, I'm back and I have my first square done. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows on it. And then I'm going to go ahead and just as I go, I'm going to be tucking in the ends. And I just thought I would show you how to do that in case you weren't sure about it. Basically, I'm just using this needle, and it's like a large-eyed needle, and the one in the center, normally what I do is I just kind of go around the little ridge of stitches, and I go a couple of times around. Just like that. You can, if you feel more secure about it, you can make a little knot. Some people don't do that, but you could, and then just tuck in the ends on this last side. So that is kind of how you do it. And then you just snip off the end, and then you just go through and tuck in the ends on all of the little pieces that, you know, where we tied off a new color. So just like that. And tuck in the ends however many, you know, passes that you feel comfortable with. And if your strings are too, or your yarn is too short, you can put the needle in first and then pull it through like that. Alrighty, so I'm going to go ahead and do that for my square, and then I'm going to make more squares. And so I just want to show you what we're going to do is we're going to need to end up with a total of 6 squares. So we have 2, 1, 2, and then on the back we have 3, 4, and then we have 5 and 6 for the flap. And because I didn't have quite enough of the same color, some of my squares are different. As you notice, these ones are, the outside of them are with the blue, and then these 2 are made differently. And so what I ended up doing was I did 4 squares in the same colors, which are my squares on my bag, And then I did the last 2 squares with whatever colors that I had left in my little balls. So those were done differently. I just kind of assessed the situation after I got my 4 squares done, and then I used the ball that was the smallest to make the center, and then the next biggest ball to make the next round, and the next biggest ball to make the next round, like that. And so I was just trying to be frugal with my yarn, and whatever I had left I did that with. So I will catch up with you when I get 6 squares done. I'll have 4 of the same, and then I'll have 2 that are most likely different colors. So I will catch back up with you when I have that all done, and then we'll go from there to the next step. I have got my squares ready. I've got my 2 squares for the flap of the bag, and then I've got my 4 squares, 2 for each side of the bag. I just wanted to give you like a quick measurement of what things are looking like. And of course, your squares can be whatever size they turn out, and this bag will work out. But these squares are about 6.5 square. So, yeah. I am going to go ahead and take these squares and crochet them together. So I'm going to go ahead and do 2 squares. I'm going to do them front sides together, and I'm going to use the coordinating color yarn. This is how much yarn I ended up with after I made all the squares as well, just so you'd have some sort of idea. All right, let me move this out of the way. And you can crochet it together with whatever color you have left, right? All right, so I am just going to go ahead and crochet these together, starting in one of the corners with the front sides facing each other. And I'm going to just crochet in the top of each stitch, just like this, just making a little seam. Now, if you'd like, you can take your tapestry needle and then just whip stitch it. You can do that. You can attach the squares however you like. There are so many tutorials on how to attach squares together. So you can do whatever it is that you like to do, whatever your preferred method of attaching squares is. And I'm just doing this. I feel like this is a little easier and faster for me than you know, just sewing them or another method. Okay, and then once I get to the next corner, I'm going to go into the little hole that we have in our corner space of each one, and just crochet that together as well. And then I'm going to go ahead, so just a little pair of scissors, snip this off, and pull that through. And then this is what it turns out like. So I have 2 squares crocheted together. I'm going to do this again for this other set of squares. Crochet these 2 together. Alrighty. Okay, so now that I have those both done, I'm going to go ahead and put these 2 together, face with the inside, whatever side I deem as the front side. I'm going to face these 2 together with these little seams on the outside. This will be, I'm going to flip this inside out once I sew it together or crochet it together. Now I'm going to go ahead and go around the outside of the bag and crochet it together the same way. And here I'm just going to go ahead and put 2 little single crochets in this corner space, just to make sure I get it secure on the corner. When I get to these two corners, just so that I can make sure that it's pretty secure, I'm going to do 2 stitches in each of the corners. And then I'm going to do 2 in this corner. Just in hopes of securing it more. Okay. That looks good. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and cut this yarn. And this is what it looks like so far. I'm going to go ahead and weave these ends in and then meet back up with you. I have woven in the ends for all those little areas that we crocheted around. This one, I'm going to go ahead and set this aside. This is our bag. It's inside out right now. And I'm going to go ahead crochet this together. I'm just going to use whatever color that I have left that is close to this color. I'd say I'll go ahead and use this. Now, all I did was I put the ones that I consider the outside, and I'm going to face those 2 together. And then I'm just going to crochet the same way, or you can do your mattress stitch. Alrighty, now I'll go ahead and snip this, pull the thread through. Alright, this is going to be the flap of the bag, and I'm just weaving in these ends. Alright, so now we have the flap ready, and we can go ahead. I'm going to flip our bag inside out, or right side out. Okay, and then I'm just going to poke the corners out. This is cute. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and crochet my flap on the bag. So I'm going to line it up like this. I'm going to use whichever color I think I have enough of. I think I probably have enough of this. I'll use the purple. Let's see how this goes. So I'm going to make sure and match up the corners with the corners of the top of the bag. And what I have is I'm going to crochet it like this. And then when it flips out and over the bag, it will be the right side on the right side of the bag. So that's kind of how I'm doing it. But you can do whatever you like. So I'm going to go ahead and start in that corner space on this one and the corner space on the bag on just one of the sides. And then just crochet them together like we did on all the other parts. And then I'm making sure to match up these center holes on each side, and I'm going to put 2 stitches in each. Making sure we're still lined up. And then I'm going to end with 2 stitches just in this corner to make sure it's secure. Oh, and look at that, we had plenty of purple yarn. Alrighty. Okay, so now this is crocheted on there. So our bag is really taking shape now. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Look at that. Okay, I do want to weave this end in. And then the one on this side. All right. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is I want to go ahead and stitch around the outside. So I just want to make a little edge so this looks nice all the way around the outside of it. So it's going to go around this, around the flap, and then back to here. So I'm going to just go ahead and use whatever I have the most of that color left, and this is it. And you can use a mixture of colors. You can use a totally different color from your stash. You can use whatever you like. So I'm going to use this. So I'm just going to go ahead and just do a little single crochet just around the edge. Let's see. Kind of just going in wherever I can find a spot. And then if I come to a spot where you're not quite sure, just do what looks right? And I'm just putting 1 single crochet in each one, just kind of making like a tidy edge. So here is kind of what I meant by just do whatever feels like the right spot to crochet into. I'm going to go ahead and put those 2 single crochets in there, that corner. Okay, and then I just stitched right into that end. All right, and so now we just have these ends to weave in, and then we're going to make our little flower tie. Right. Oh my gosh, it's looking so cute. Oh, look at that. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so sparkly and so cool looking. Okay, the next thing is we're going to go ahead and do our flower tie. I'm going to go ahead and pick out this. And I'm going to attach it right here. Okay. And then I'm just going to do a chain. And then we'll decide how long we need to make it. We just want it to be able to wrap around the bag. Okay, let's see how this does. What we want is it to be around long enough so that we can then put it under. Move this to the side. And then I'm going to make our little flower. And the flower starts with a slip knot and then 4 single crochets and then slip stitch to join in that very first chain, and then do chain 2. That counts as the first double crochet, and then we're going to do 10 double crochets in the ring. So it'll be 11 with that first chain 2. So 11 total double crochets, one of them being that first chain 2. Okay, so once we have 11, then we do slip stitch in that top of the first chain 2 to join, and then we'll go ahead and cut our yarn. And then the next thing we're going to do is get our next color that we're going to do the petals of our flower in, and do a slip knot. This is the color of our petals. So we're going to go ahead and do a single crochet in one of the top of the double crochets. And the next one we're going to do our first petal. So we're going to do a double crochet, another double crochet, a triple crochet, which is yarn over twice and pull through 2, pull through 2, and pull through 2. And then we're going to do a double crochet and then another double crochet. So it has a total of 5 stitches to make the petal. It has 2 double crochets, a triple crochet, and 2 more double crochets in that same stitch. And then in the next top of the next stitch, we're going to go ahead and do a single crochet, and then we're going to go ahead and do another one of the petals. We're going to do 2 double crochets, a triple crochet, which is yarn over twice, pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then another double crochet and another double crochet, and then a single crochet in the top of the next one. And then the next one is our petal again. So 2 double crochets, a triple crochet, which is the 2 yarn overs, and then pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, 2 double crochets, a single crochet in the next stitch, another petal, another single crochet, then another petal, then a triple, okay, and then another single crochet, And then we slip stitch in that beginning of that first one, that little single crochet to join. And then we have our flower, just like that. So there's what she looks like. Now, if you're off at all, and you can just, fudge it just slightly if you need to, I wouldn't worry too much about it being too perfect, because you can kind of make it look right? So now we'll take it and put it on our bag. But I love how it turned out. It's a cute little flower. You can also find any number of flower patterns on the internet, if you want to do a different flower or a heart or whatever you want to do as your tie. All right, I'm going to go ahead and use my needle to kind of bring in the back of our flower so that it brings in the hole, makes the hole a little bit smaller on the inside. So it looks like a little flower, just like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and stitch it on our chain. To the back of our flower. I'm going to stitch the chain to the back of the flower, just like that. And then weave in the ends. So I will meet back up with you when I've woven in all these ends. Okay, we're back with our bag and it's finished. I love how it turned out. And it's really just like a free form kind of flower, however you want it to be. This little cord wraps around the bag just like this and then ties like that. I'm going to go ahead and put something in our bag. I'm going to put a journal just so you can kind of see how it looks with something inside of it. And then once you wrap it around, then you can tuck the flower under. Oh my gosh, look at how cute it turned out. I love it. So this little tie can be shorter or longer depending upon how full you're going to make your bag. If it's going to be really full, you might want to make the tie a little bit longer, but the tie does stretch. So it's really cute. I love the way it turned out. Oh my gosh, you have to make one of these. It was really fun and fast crochet, and we used almost our whole ball. This is what I had left, just these few little scraps. So this is what I had left to work with. So that's, actually here's a couple more. So there you go. In case you were wondering, if we had anything left, that's what we had left. I love how it turned out. It's so cute and so fun. See you next time. Bye.